Hello friends. So today I am very excited for this session for two reasons. First of all, we are going to have this Scrum Master interview series specifically for Big Four Consulting, as you can see in the logo. And other important thing why I'm excited is because we have Nilab with us today. He's my old friend from Wipro, and I know him personally pretty well. So I just requested him to please come on our show and help us with couple of tricky questions. So all these questions which you are going to see are pretty, I would say, tricky one. And we have got these questions from different sources, from different viewers, from LinkedIn, and a lot of people have mailed me all these questions. So we are just make a series because it's very difficult to cover everything in just half an hour or 1 hour. So please follow us with this series. And let me introduce Nilab Rajmitra with us. He's a child practitioner with the vast experience in the development and in Agile, in Scrum. So Nilab, hi and welcome. And thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, hi Sunand. First of all, my gratitude to you for providing this platform to share my experience and knowledge. And even I'm also nervous little because because never thought of getting an opportunity to share whatever we have come across throughout almost a decade. Interviewing Scrum Master, giving interviews, and exchanging knowledge. So, overall, thanks to you.
Okay, Nilab. Okay. So shall we begin? Or
Yes.
okay, let's go to our very first question. Okay, I'll read out for you. Okay, so let's assume that our product owner wants less stringent definition of done so that the development team can deliver more items. And does it make sense to do this way as a Scrum Master? Or what problems might be expected due to less stringent definition of done? So what is your thought on this, Nilab? Please go ahead.
Yes, Sunan. Yeah, before I give an explanation to this scenario, what has been put forward. Let me mention it to all my friends that that the key to all the answers or key to all kind of situations are there in the 12 principles of Agile or Agile principles. So if we really practice or if we really remember the 12 agile principles, then it will be very easy or a comfortable path to come across the scenario, to take the scenarios head on, or even as we are here to answer any of the say tricky or situation based interview questions. So that's the key, that the 12 agile principles are the very basic mantras to these scenarios. Okay, and the second thing is that when we come down to interview questions for Scrum Masters, Senior Scrum Masters, or say Agile project managers by these companies who are now the flag bearers for Agile implementation throughout the globe. So uh, that means that the scenario is a real one. So that means those people who are interviewing or those people who are almost there in this organization are facing this scenario. It's not that some theoretical say concept came up and they just collated it and throwing this question to you. So again, just a say reminder to all my friends there that these scenarios are real. And I'm sure that whoever are there in the interview desk, means giving the interview, they must have been also quite acknowledge that these scenarios are real. So there's nothing to say conceptualize, or there is nothing to bring forward any theory while giving the answer. If they just remember, as I said, the 12 agile principles and the same scenarios which they have come across, and then collate and relate, draw analogies and all, they can give good answers, or they can really give convincing answers. Again, last but not the least, before I go forward explaining the answer, that there is no right or wrong answer for this type of questions. These are the scenarios, and you have to, or as a candidate, you have to explain how you have faced, and what is the best way you have tackled this scenario, and how you have moved forward. So, and again, it is the matter of convincing the coach or the interviewer that, okay, this is the way we have done it, and there are other ways also. So there is nothing wrong if the interviewer disagrees, or there is nothing bad that if the interview gets into kind of a, say, a short argument that no, this is not the way, then don't take it to the heart that, okay, I did something and I had been, completely denied that, because everybody has got their own ways of handling things. Okay, so now let's get down to the scenario where it says the PO wants less stringent DoD so that the development team or the Scrum team can deliver more items due to heavy business demands. So, first of all, when this kind of questions are being thrown, so let me tell all my friends that uh, think for just 5 6 seconds where the question is coming from, or where the interview is coming from. So that means they have, as I said, they have the scenario, and they also know that theoretically it's not wrong, it's not right. So we must have a balance, or must have an agreement with the stakeholders of the business, and then move forward. But how to do that? That's the question. So here you have to think of which is the word, like how, why, or what. So this is a how question. So and they are searching that how the Scrum Master needs to find a balance. So as I said that uh, there's no right or wrong answers. So DoD is this thing which is not written on stone. It's not a gospel, or it's not something which is written in as a theory. It can evolve. It can definitely get course corrected. So business and technical team can discuss and find the balancing route to proceed further. So far, DoDs are concerned. DoDs, what is a DoD? It's an agreement. So if we go along with business, technical debts will come up, and with the other way, miss the potential gain in the market. So technical debts are not good, definitely not healthy. So so we have to think on that. So what to do? The Scrum Master must have to find a balance. The team might deliver more items, but are we okay with the technical debts? So, due to less stringent DoD, development team or the development of the actual deliverable and the integration of all the parts which the team are making will be affected, because as I said, there is no agreement. So the team might deliver more items in short time, but the team members will do trade-offs. They know that it's all psychological. So they know that we have to deliver more items, and the agreement is just on the wind, and we are fine. We are being say judged or whatever. We are accountable for more items. So they'll start doing trade-offs. So, and accumulating technical debts will eventually cost more time and money in the long run. So trade-offs will result in technical debts. And as I said, technical debts will cost more money and time to solve it for the organization. So the Scrum Master here, having this, the Scrum Master must explain this to the product owner. He should take time, he should sit down with the product owner and should explain this with all possible supporting items, or say past examples. He can take some help of some logs, or say examples from the previous projects, or say previous say delivery, or say sprints. So he has to explain this, that we are delivering more items, but at the same time, technical debts are going to be piled up. So here the role of the Scrum Master doesn't end. As a Scrum Master, he must or she must also try to understand the challenges which are being faced by the product owner and the business. It's not like product owner is very much happy to go for technical depths instead of understanding. There must be some pressure, or where are they coming from? The Scrum Master should take time and little pain to understand that what are the challenges are being faced by the product owner and the business. So then he must go and retrospect with the stakeholders, that what's the matter, to grasp this. So based on the outcome of the retrospect, there may be other solutions. Rather than making the DoD less stringent, so he should go for the other solutions. So here I'd also say that Scrum Master, what does a Scrum Master do? Scrum Master mostly creates atmospheres, proper amicable atmospheres. So Scrum Master is an atmosphere maker. So he should create an atmosphere where the team and the product owner have to discuss and debate with the risk. Uh, what I normally say, what I normally practice in my Scrum implementation throughout organizations, that is called collaboration meetings. So he should fix or she should fix a meeting, which is nothing but beyond the normal Scrum ceremonies, which is a collaboration meeting where the team and the product owner should come and discuss and debate about the risks. Risks of piling up technical debts, risks from the product owner point of view, that we need faster uh, uh, shippable items to cater or to have an edge over in the market. So then at the same time, in the same meeting, the Scrum Master should explain that if we compromise on the DoD now, in order to ship quicker, what will be the consequences? So there must be a very uh, uh, very idle atmosphere. As I said, he's an atmosphere creator, so he should explain that, will we pile up a lot of technical debt that will become too difficult to conquer and slows in releasing features further? And are we really equipped enough to address or say deal with this amount of technical debts? Do we have that expertise? Do we have the time? First thing. Second, are we there that instead of as I said, the trade-offs the team may do. So instead of really bringing quality things, will we release more bugs to production? If we have compromised on quality, causing the app to be a maintenance nightmare later on. So as because some trade-offs have been done, quality has been compromised, and we did not have an agreement, because mostly DoDs are agreements about quality and security. So will we risk introducing a security vulnerability that will put data at risk? So these type of questions in that meeting, which I said collaboration meeting, should be shot to the product owner and the rest of the stakeholders. So then as I said, that there have to be a common outcome. So however, at times you need to walk slow in order to walk fast. So that Agile says. And don't fall into a trap of continuously walking slow sighting to the new normal. So sometimes you have to slow down. That's why we say fail first. Okay, failing first doesn't mean that we are literally putting an example of failure always. It's nothing but the same empiricism which will come up, that we will learn from our failures. So as I said, that at times you need to walk slow in order to walk fast. So yeah, so this is what we can mention about this type of this particular situation-based question.
Thanks a lot, Nilab. The way you explain is really fabulous, I would say. So if you want to take a pause, that's okay, or we can continue with our second question. Okay, friends. So let's move on to second question. Okay, so a user story does not meet the definition of ready, but the product owner wants that to be considered for sprint. So how, as a Scrum Master, do you think team can respond to this kind of request? Yeah, Nila. So again,
Um,
very much real life scenarios which we face a lot of time. Yeah, Nila.
yes, I think Sunand, we both are from, means once we were in the same organization and same project, I think, remember. So on the lighter vein, we have come across this scenario many a times, you know that. So yes, again, as I said that the 12 agile principles are key to this, uh, key to the answers or key to the solutions. And I just again want to say that Scrum is like a machine. Scrum, the more you run, the more you learn. So it's not theoretical. There are a lot of books, there are a lot of theories, there are a lot of concepts, almost uh, coming up in internet, coming up in different forums, mushrooming everywhere. But you can only learn when you personally run Scrum. So it's not that you just read something and then wrap it up and then mug it up and then go and produce. So that's, I mean, I tried that, but it never worked. So so that's what I'm saying, that Scrum is like a machine. The more you run, the more you learn, and the more you'll have fun. So, so this DOR and DODs are something which only you can only deal with those type of scenarios when you practically implement Scrum. So, okay, let's come down to this scenario. An user story does not meet the definition of ready, but the product owner wants to be considered for sprint. And however, as a Scrum Master, do you think the team can respond to this? So, well, in a nutshell, if I say that this question has got a simple go no go answer, means like, okay, you are not ready, you will not take it. But for any Scrum time, as I said, for normal practice, as a normal practice, DOR is mandatory, and it would help the team as a check whether as a user story meets or have the required details, the everything, means I'm starting from the acceptance criteria, the mock-ups, the schema from the data side, whatever. So details as per the criteria agreed, and they are ready or not, they are being stacked or not. So set by the team for themselves to consider itself as ready to be taken or not. So as I said, it's quite binary, it's a 0 or 1. But there are things to ponder. Okay, so hence let us assume the team's DOR mandates to have user story written in the agreed form, acceptance criteria written and estimated. But if some user story are not fully developed and doesn't meet your criteria, then the team needs to see whether their user stories are say what must be considered as per the sprint goal or not. So that they can do in the sprint planning meeting or the backlog refinement meeting. So they don't have to literally wait for the sprint to start. Okay, so if they don't impact the sprint goal, hence the user stories which doesn't have a DOR, the team does not need to consider those user stories and can work on refining further till they meet DOR and can be taken in future sprints. So this is one side of the answer. You can stop here, but are we really addressing the scenario? We are not. So, but what if these stories directly impact sprint goal? As I said, now you know that the user stories are not impacting sprint goal. You are not taking those user stories. You are just putting into the rack and going further. And now the next scenario comes: what if these stories directly impact the sprint goal, and without this sprint goal does not make sense? So what the team should do? in this scenario. So then comes various options. There comes various options. So can they go ahead and consider these user stories also for the sprint, or ignore the user stories as they don't meet definition of ready criteria? If the answer is uh, the second one, that is the answer is they don't have to meet that, it don't consider user stories into sprint as they were not meeting DOR. The team may be right, the Scrum Master may be right in the following the rules set by the team itself, but how agile the team is, it will come out. How agile the team is when the team can't even consider something which is going to help business and provide more value. So let's not forget that one of the agile principles is welcome change in requirements. So now we know that adaptability and acceptance is also one of the core thing of agile. So what should we do? That should we go by the binary process, like you are not ready, we will not consider, or should we think on something? Then what should we do if we think on something? As a Scrum Master to the team, the best approach I would suggest here is try consider those user stories as well for the sprint, but with a rider. But with a rider, when I say like some conditions, what's a rider? As these user stories are not refined completely, team may not know how big these user stories are, how complex these user stories are, what are the certainties, what are the uncertainties in this. So this invest criteria, are they meeting this invest criteria or not? So then it will turn out to be a nightmare. We all know. So technical challenges will come up, they may arise out of this. Okay, so team may also not know the number of story points they would assign, they would could be considered for these user stories. So that means risk is there, risk on the velocity is also there, so many stats will get hampered. So the involved risk which you are considering with this user story should be conveyed to the product owner. That's why the set expectation, right? The Scrum Master and the team should set an expectation right to the product owner before considering these user stories into the running sprint. So I would tell the product owner as a Scrum Master, I would tell all the above points, as I said, that the risks, that complexity, uncertainty, very much doubtful in assigning an user story points, and the technical challenges. So it will tell I will tell the product owner all the above points on the risk, and even mention that the sprint itself could go west. That if nothing is going to be come out because of the single user story, if someone of this turned to be big or very complex, the user stories which don't have the DOR, so we may have to cancel the sprint. So now, after mentioning or conveying this, which is I mentioned as a rider, leave the decision to the product owner. If the product owner and the stakeholders feels that team can still consider stories into sprint and see how it turns out to be, let's take it, then team can very well go ahead. But if the product owner thinks that it is unnecessary and we are carrying a huge amount of risk as a baggage and expects team to work only on user stories that are completely ready, then team can move on with the sprint with all the user stories which are being refined and which have all the acceptance criteria and your criteria being met. So here team can spend some time on refining the user stories which are not ready yet. And if they make things ready, then they consider taking those user stories for next sprint only. So this is the means like in my point of view, this is the explanation to DOR being not met. But at the same time, I just want to mention something on the lighter vein that definition of ready is not a Scrum job. So it's not mandatory for Scrum teams still having clear entry criteria as well as exit criteria. So this is one of the various reasons why we go for estimation. If people cannot estimate at all, it indicates that it's not clear what they are supposed to accomplish. In such case, we use many types of tasks, analysis tasks. So that's why estimation is a very core thing. But I should not divert from the scenario. I just said on the lighter note that DOR is not as come down. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot, Nilap. Friends, Nilap is not well, honestly, but still
No,
I
no, I'm
requested
fine.
him. And no, he's just came out from Corona. So yeah, he's a fighter. We call him as a tiger. So he is a
Come on.
tiger. So he's not well, friend. You can see, he may be coughing in between here and there. But yeah, again, he has taken all the pain and he has, just came out and he just sharing his thoughts with all of us. So really appreciate your help, Nilap. And obviously, we are going to continue this series. I really learned a lot of things from the way you have given the answers. So a couple of key points which are really good, the way you have mentioned. So I really appreciate your help, Nilap. And friends, please, yeah, subscribe, like, and share this video with all of your friend on your LinkedIn. And please keep watching. We have further questions, part 2, part 3 for this coming up soon. So please keep watching. And yeah, that's all, folks, for today. Thanks. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Sunan.